of the press, civil society, ordinary individuals, they all frown at that particular bill day when they pass the parliament.
Okay, but another key discussion we like be the come up now that before this bill go na parliament, it go through cabinet and then the president obviously get for like see some certain thing in it. So like the discussion na that before if we don't go na parliament first, since him be privileged like for see am before then carry and go for debate am, at least they say for me don't like draw the attention or make some if I don't raise an option before then for me can go now that where people raise concern make back in Kango and send them back for me then can look into them. So like people in the one go the one that says is it that na blind eye the president turn to that particular section there?
A very, very fine question. You look at it in various perspectives. One, whether the president actually read. That's the one thing, you understand? If the president they read. Because, you know, the thing is bulky. If at all the person will initiate them, not make a known to the president, then the president not they read. Because a responsibility, you understand, for look at them, right? Then also if you get a team around them, we go look at the bill because you are the president, right? You get for look at waiting good for the nation and waiting not good for the nation. Then also waiting go lead to a public outcry and waiting will make the people appreciate the stuff. Because generally, right, a bill means a proposed legislation. A bill is no law until the president signs it before it becomes law, even when it don't go through parliament. Another limitation of the powers of parliament. Like pass fine bill or whatever bill, you go to the president not sign them. So the limitation and the. But again, bills last this particular bill, you get different types of bill, private, public bill. A part of private and public, but this particular bill, now a budget bill. You understand? It's very, very important, meaning that the president already gets a vision. The president already gets aims and objective. He gets in political objectives. You understand? Before the election, he gets certain things there where he puts together. You understand? And where he feels safe, if he transform. In his first speech, he talk about a lot of things. Then one thing we talk about, he say this is an opportunity for make it transform. You understand? In issues them, the campaign which is of them into policy. You understand? So as a result of that, when a bill starts, it starts from either a department, in this case, from the Ministry of Finance. We all know, say, we all be the meet at a conference hall, with various ministries then go, present them budgets. You understand? We follow large number of them, then present them budgets. They scrutinize the budget go back, right? So me get the strongest conviction, say, just as you put on, the president been very mindful of the bill, right? He aware, say, that portion was there. Because it better make it aware, say, the portion was there, than a no say, then he appear as if a no say the team did it. It means he was not reading, right? And that is detrimental. So this particular thing don't go to the president because you get to go a cabinet meeting before they approve them. So it has gone to parliament, to cabinet, they don't look at them, and there was an approval. If the cabinet not approve, it didn't go parliament. You understand? So the cabinet will already approve. And who is the chairman of cabinet? When cabinet they meet is the president. Right? The president is the chairman of cabinet. Now they preside over cabinet meetings. So from there, the thing go parliament. Then we see how hastily it was passed. It was more than an electric current shock. That even members of parliament, either themselves know the read or whatever, the bill can a parliament, then, if not unanimously, but almost 85%, before they are going for prove me right or wrong, because it always in a parliament, right, vote in favor of the bill, right? Let's say the act they in general, but there are portions in the act where you look at, even if you don't condemn the whole act, the fact remains that there are portions there because it's the responsibility of parliament, right? Say, we are not satisfied with this because we are here for the people, right? If this go out, looking at the economy, you understand, looking at good governance, and make I tell you, parliament now the basis for good governance. Now parliament for serve as an example for make we able to get good governance in the country, because parliament they check the activities of the executive. That are one way how parliament they check the activities of the executive, you understand? Because we get these checks and balances. where in one organ of government they check the activities of the other. And in this situation, Parliament, they check the activities of the executive in terms of appointments. You appoint where the president will appoint, you get limitation until Parliament approve them, you understand? Then get oversight functions where then they perform with regards to expenditure, you understand? You get a huge lot of thing away Parliament, they actually check the activities of the executive. So as a result of that, for make democracy thrive, we depend greatly on Parliament because there are no issues, you understand, where to go through. Even where the president go out, you go append his signature or representative of government, go sign certain agreements outside, they will not become law until you go through Parliament. Because we country, you get under international law, you go to them called dualism and monism. When you talk about dualism, it means even when the president or government representatives then go out on behalf of the government, then sign treaties, then treaties they know they become law until they are domesticated. That is, you get for go through Parliament. You get some states that are money states, and then states also they don't need for go Parliament. Once government representatives, where they recognize and don't go out and sign a particular thing, automatically it apply. Now your country. But in this situation, we are a dualist state. So Parliament gets a function and gets a role, they get powers, then get almost everything. But being that, for one or two reasons, I don't know, then they fail for perform their responsibility. Look at waiting with the listen just now. They don't even go to Parliament. You understand? It was coming from a member of Parliament, you understand, and backed by another member of Parliament, then the speaker as well. And times without number, the speaker don't come out and actually tell people and sit down for their turn. So if you are, now mandate then gets, you understand, it is their constitutional function, right? By virtue of the fact that they come to Parliament as a result of what the Constitution say. So in as much as they don't really do in Parliament, they also get to perform the functions. And besides, they are paid for the work they do. You understand? And they are there representing the people. So as a result, therefore always did it. Because I say, if you the opposition, for example, you not go a parliamentary sitting, you understand? A person will say, sometimes the government gets a very bad bill where at their own advantage. Then they read the one whole situation. Say, we get less members, you understand, of parliament than also of the opposition side. So what do they do? Law pass this, law send this thing for go parliament. You understand? Because you get a lot of, you get parliamentary times, you get like guillotine, you understand? And we then get, they select under guillotine, it means say, there are certain bills that are selected for debate. You understand? You select them for debate, right? So you also get other terms like kangaroo, you understand? A huge lot of terminologies where the Speaker of Parliament can take advantage of. Because seeing as much as there are several bills in Parliament, they're not going to look at them, then they select certain bills, you understand? Through guillotine. You select the bills, so you look at the situation, oh, they're not cancelled. If we're going to vote, we go, actually this bill will go through. So then go introduce them. Because you self as a member of Parliament, you get responsibility for camp Parliament. You understand? You know camp Parliament. So then they do good. You understand? The members of Parliament, they really know they try.
Okay, well, that's now Marcus Bangura, the Executive Director, Democracy Saloon, and Sefna political analyst, done the talk on different issues them inside the program. The program they listen to now inside Parliament, where they come to you live from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. You can send we message on number 077981981, or you can call and ask a question on the same number, or you can listen to me on the internet on www.radiodemocracy.sl, or you can watch me live now on Radio Democracy Facebook page. Well, I also get with me in the studio Melvin Tijan Mansare, when a seasoned journalist and na a seasoned parliamentary journalist we know the issues them with happen inside Parliament. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Thank you for getting me. Good morning to listeners.
Okay, well, I go start from the last discussion we Marcus just talk on this attendance of member of parliament them. So, like, what do you think say this mean if the member of parliament the way people send for represent them for talk on issues them way they get for bring development and push the people life them go before the country, not agree for attend sittings them. Then can only attend sittings them on basis them way like then get interest or now make them can go most of the time. But what you think about the frequent empty parliament seats them empty?
Well, absenteeism is a serious issue in the 5th Parliament of Salon, as rightly as the speaker before now done the say, and you say I'm sure don't capture in a report. For sorry for Camlet, I will do another show on television. But by and large, a serious concern. If members of parliament they not to go sitting, some, I mean say we money not to use wisely because then they pay them from taxpayers' monies. And it means say the business of parliament, if it start 10 o'clock, then it go start 11 o'clock, it'll be delayed, meaning that waiting them for we don't do, they're not going to do all. And let me not forget, members of parliament constitutionally and based on the standing orders, get a specific amount of sitting for attend. It's supposed to be 120 something. I'm not getting out the top of my head, and that now waiting the law says. So if you get to a situation wherein, if for example go 123 sittings, you just go 80 sittings or 50 sittings, it means that you don't do this service not only to the consolidated revenue fund and by extension taxpayers, but also to your constituents. Members of parliament, they are representing constituencies or chiefdoms. And in that case, let's say if you're a paramount chief member of parliament, you know we go parliament for go and go know the issues within in terms of legislations, the agreements, you know, waiting at some of the motions being put by governments or private members. It means say that whole way for be representational, you need one well. But however, there's another side to that story. Capacity of parliamentarians at Salone. Now an open secret. If you do a comparative reading between the parliament of Salone, Guinea, and other West African countries, you will actually see Salone with parliament. I don't want to say they be enforced in terms of resources and other basic amenities, but then they face a serious challenge. Again, if we talk about parliamentarians, we're not going to parliament to understand the dynamics. We'll not get a situation where in all members of parliament they come on a free tongue no more. We get some members of parliament where they come on a bump, some na Kurubola, Falaba, others Tonkolidi, others different parts of the country, and in fact there are some of them they far, some of them they near. And the resources so come, we know see members of parliament always on the express concern about them fuel. They say that they give them only 6 million loans as fuel allowance. Again, the business of the house. We don't get a situation where in members of parliament in the kind of parliament, they don't even know waiting at the business of the house, waiting at the other paper, late service of the other paper. So in case that member of parliament not see anything like which we can discuss this week, firstly, for criticize the parliament of Sierra Leone with all the good will they try for do, the parliament of Sierra Leone not get calendar. One day I was so embarrassed by my colleague in Ghana, we want to forget the calendar for the parliament because we want to can do some coverage. And unfortunately, Salone Parliament will not get calendar. We mean say, even time for call ministers to question. I will go back to one member of parliament. He is the most perhaps the enigmatic member of parliament for now. We mean disagree with Mr. Speaker. Say if Mr. Speaker be don't propose say issues them on ministries, departments and agencies, parliamentarians will begin call ministers to question time. Honorable Tawabi they raise the counter argument that how you go get question time when you don't know how much ministries you get for commit. We don't know who stay here for meet them. We don't know on whose issue you can meet them. So all of those are, administrative challenges facing the Sierra Leone Parliament. But by and large, it's serious. It should say challenges there on the part of the MPs when they're not the kind of parliament, but it's also challenges also there on the part of the administration of parliament, inclusive of the political wing. Because you forget the business committee where they, but how the business committee they set the business and how then they communicate. We don't get to parliament we are in for today, then we'll take say sitting there, don't just the next moment you see on WhatsApp, say release don't come out. The channel of communication of parliament also not a big challenge. But generally, I think say it's good that some of the things then like this they come out from parliament and the public the opinion panenting there. So it's just say with democracy again, let we understand that we get 3 categories of parliament according to experts. You get the rubber stamped, you get the emerging, you get the advanced. And thankfully, according to the small findings from the Commonwealth parliamentary benchmarks and the global standards for it, all parliaments, Sierra Leone will not be below, but we know they are above. We the middle. We now emerging parliament. So we get a lot of opportunities for explore. We get a lot of situations where it might not work right. In the case of this finance and bill of 2020, may not go blame parliament at all. The composition of this parliament, some experts call them Ong parliament, where means say, in my opinion, no one party, no major. If you look, SLPP gets 69, APC gets 67, NGC gets 4, C4C gets 8, independents we get 2, and we get 14 paramount chiefs. So that alone make the parliament chaotic. I can always say now we the Salone people and the way we vote, now we make you get the kind of parliament we get. So tension always then at the Salon Parliament, and it's good that we don't go to Bo and go get Bo declaration, what they call the peace treaty of Parliament, and somehow done the work, because see in the first session of this 5th Parliament, they almost not do nothing in my opinion. They just the busy defect, work out this issue to this issue. It was so hostile. But now in this second session, the APC, the SLPP, the all political parties, they don't say these things are not helping. So by and large, the parliament can for make mistakes because APC they're in an unfortunate position. If they want for checkmate the SLPP too much, SLPP go accuse and say they want for obstruct to business. And who say with the IM rush as now the time that way, then telling the chaos the people that they use, then they bulldoze. Again, SLPP say they're under pressure. If they continue for the bulldoze, other opposition parties then can say this in the ISW, and that will fall short of best practices across the world. So it's a win and take situation, and in that situation they mean I can always say we get a parliament we are going to expect the unexpected.
Okay, but despite the challenges then the way member of parliament in the face with, but you think say that's for make them know before perform their duty?
If all things not go right, yes, not challenge. Because if you can have parliament, you know it's not the business of the house. Then you come out kubola. You not go and take that risk they for carry your meet parliamentary sitting. The next day you go come back. Mine in a fear some of them they born. So with all, I mean, I need the old brief of members of parliament, but for consider them back young plight and with the resources the way that they get. So for me, they will get perhaps the speaker and the ethics committee for doing an investigation on that, because you get written and call the parliamentary ethics committee do an investigation and find out why MPs then delay.
Yeah, because
then we get something sacrosanct for tell.
Yeah.
Whereas now we just do hypotheses, speculate, and so on and so forth. But based on experience, the challenges can be huge, they can be wide-ranging, they can be so dispersed, and it depends from you go before ascertain on a case-by-case base. Because sometimes that MP na bonds go tell you say what's happening full, now they cannot come. But that MP na let's say Koinadu go tell you say the road been bad or weather been bad. So the issues then range, but na then duty. Now, people vote for them for and then for performance. If they get any impediments or anything they unbug them, now then duty also constitutionally for make sure that the executive understand this. But again, within a world where in politics the executive always want to forget a gag on parliament. And
yeah, because this is an issue with the administration, they really need to look inside.
And how the executive can muzzle parliament now by your budget. If you go give parliament, well, I need to check with now the budget for parliament, and not the committee where they deal with parliamentary budget. But if you also say you go give parliament money, we now will do for one the administration and the political aspect. Because when we talk about parliament, most time they present one picture, like the MP then no more. The MP then are just 146. The administrators, I'm sure them will pass the MPs far. So how you imagine them two aspects then the executive gets a whole work for do. We can say if the executive give parliament the kind of budget we they need, we don't need ACC. And me strongly believe say if the money kind of money that they put by ACC and the kind of thing them when we don't see princess the other day we got way and the probe into institutions SLRA. I know I'm talking 6 billion unaccounted for. Other institutions they pay thousands of dollars for rent. Then you get other institutions they spend thousands of millions of loans on top up.
And even said the payments of one director.
So one director they get over 30 million, the one MP they get
12 million.
12 million. All these are disparities. So I mean some of them things I also work in talk and some people will say, this they can't defend parliamentarians. But that's what if one parliamentarians they work fine, I tell you, me don't talk with some people them we come for can do capacity building on the Sierra Leone parliament. We then say one way for do the Westminster way, all MP forget clinic now in constituency. We're not clinic like office. That office they at the end of the day, parliament they get off season. Or then they go on recess. That's how they go on recess. Or before even that, if people can check, no, waiting at the petitions there, waiting at the concerns of the community there. Then they can left for in the office. That's why they happen in advanced democracies. But we not reach that level and it. Even a small couple when say for let MP, some MP and go build house or go build office or go rent. We see some MP then they don't host them go rent. If I talk some yes, conflict of interest, we see them. But if you can't talk on that now, some people are going to say, this is anti-establishment. We don't see who side some, not even do ourselves. We don't see who side some other man, then do past that. We then can't talk on a parliament, other MP then boo there. On I will say, I mean, a case study. We then give them that money, the way go do things in a corner, where I can't talk, I can't like. inspiring company. We see how some then change, then become hostile. So it's a vice versa situation. You get some lawmakers then they really don't think about the people, but you get some others then genuinely want for help the people, but they are constrained. So how will they able for how will they able for shield the fish from the bone and make sure that the electorate votes on the right causes? Because attrition self now a concern. Almost MP they go and almost MP they come. Every time we MP that they can get them training for let them know how for lead. But if let's say 100% go, then you get 20-30% when they come. Now lost back to the country. So we need along political parties for educate the electorate who is a good member of parliament, written the role of member of parliament, written the present situation of members of parliament, expectations. MP then will tell you say they're working for development. But now we tell them now an unconstitutional mandate for let them do development. Because you need in a constituency you say you know get bridge for pass, then you go tell them and say, me, then don't vote on me for coming bridge. People then go stone you, then go chase you. So all those issues will be factors with the reality and the executive for give parliament at least some kind of resources way for make then they above reproach.
Okay, now we see the budget. We see that after we member of parliament them don't debate them. Now we don't gonna sub committee of supply outside different MDs them. Now they go defend them budget. So far so good. How far we don't monitor them the process? Waiting on me the outcome so far.
As somebody when a young man at this country are worried that this talk about fighting corruption are lip service. Princess, I don't want to put you on the spot, but the institutions that will cover for the how they use the 2019 budget, it should say ACC, they not do nothing. Some people will vex say, wait to make Melvin Melvin they can't talk that. Just see the kind of jumbo revelations of monies unaccounted for, documents away members of parliament and they ask institutions, vote controllers them for what they not account for. See how government funds and people and their sweat and their labor on as taxpayers' money, they go just like that. You say we really it's not ready for fight corruption because corruption is rife. The revelations they're shocking, they're appalling. It shows say we get a long way for go. If government really want to fight corruption, capacitate parliament.
Then one thing was one thing was so interesting in the process. You they don't write for something saying that this and so I'll use money. Then they ask you now defend this. You're not able for even for explain properly.
Princess, this somebody go facing a joke inside one of the committees, and I want to call the committee name because you know say we get contempt laws.
Like yes, then I can invoke. Yes, then go invoke something.
Fall short of contempt. We get one committee who say one vote controller, one PS, and one disclose the sex again. When the MP them pressure out questions, see, can you imagine in pressure it go up? Ambulance now go take her. And for the family know the magnitude of corruption within the executive and other arms of government. Ambulance. We don't see a case of people that call themselves PS. Just this week we pass Princess, you attest. Where for do simple mathematics, somebody they calculate, then they give you 28 billion as your allocation. You spend 30 billion, then you get 4 billion carry forward. For God's sake, how that magic they work. So it shows that corruption is endemic, it's still there, and if one for fight corruption, I repeat, let's just stabilize the parliament, make sure that the parliament get the kind of capacity we forget, give them the kind of monitoring, and make sure that we get cops that will monitor parliament, make sure that they're not compromised at all. And tell you, if you pay MP 50 million loans, for let you go bribe the MP, how much you go get? Something I want you thief. So you look and say, I'm not thief again, because if I go get that MP or whosoever or whatever committee, because I'm going to tell you, the secret is open. We're not going to talk no more because some of the work within the institution. It's open. The establishment is corrupt. And parliament, some of the parliamentarians, they have been compromised.
Okay, my consider a reform within Melvin on talk, and the process still they carry on. They go end Tuesday, this subcommittee on supply with the MDs them, they go defend them budgets, the allocation we then get in 2019. I would only say a lot of issues we don't they come up. So you think say some of the issues then now they are the main key factors we make the bread and butter issues still they affect the country, we make people them still they suffer, they cry for condition of living.
Yeah, I guess, in my opinion, that's my strongest conviction. That could be a major factor. But before I respond to that, I just want say one or two things to which Melvin say. Of course, I agree with him with most of the things that we say. But now once I not agree because of members of parliament, most of them not they free tone, then they upline. So as a result of that, that can serve as a factor. We make them can miss certain sittings in parliament. I don't know if I get you wrong, but with something like
Well,
that.
I will
you understand?
predicate that argument
Yes.
on the fact that some of them not can know what they can do in a parliament,
Okay.
and for calm they can look at gamble.
Okay. Because we look at if you look at the mandate of parliament itself, right? I don't know if members of parliament know, but that the responsibility for them to say, parliament for meet 4 times a week. They know they meet Monday, right? They know they meet weekends. Then they meet. They're supposed for meet Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays and Fridays, right?
I beg for
So-
differ. Constitutionally, I'm not going to stand in Northern Nigeria,
Yeah.
so but it's clear that can be regulated. But
No, that's-
officially,
that's-
it should be Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And Thursdays.
No, but
It's subject to
no,
change.
it's generally the fact remains that it's supposed to be.
Can you help me just?
You understand? Yes, take it. It's supposed to be right on Thursday, where I say Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and
Thursdays and
Fridays.
Fridays.
You understand? Most times, because of 1 or 2 things, they meet on Tuesdays and
Tuesdays and
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
You understand? But if you look at them from time, that's not the prescribed time where they for meet, right? Now, if you look at again the administrative setup, you get the Speaker of Parliament. You understand? We in the lead Parliament. You also get the Clerk of Parliament, who is the administrative head. You get a deputy. Then you get about, I don't know if you know, increase the number of departments. You understand? And all these departments get heads, and they function now for provide technical, administrative, and advisory functions to the administration of Parliament, you understand? So as a result of that, Parliament gets that responsibility, you understand, for make sure, say, they attend on time, irrespective of where you are, because Parliament is in Freetown, right? The one thing where I agree with are the fact, say, Parliament not get timetable. Why Parliament not forget a timetable? Certain times, some bill can come at any time, you understand? But apart from that, Parliament also get the responsibility for make sure say then get a prescribed timetable when I'm going to say from this department, the other time this department, and this department, you understand? So that at least it will able to help them out and it will make the work very, very easy, right? The only time the way Parliament so they meet. Now during holidays that weekend we are tell you about. But you know me say they know they meet. Oh. If there is any situation for make them meet, you understand? Then therefore get a resolution on that. Therefore agree, say, therefore meet on Sunday. Provision day on that, you understand? If they agree, say, because of the table is so full with activities, and there is certain things they want for actually get rid of so quickly, they can say, we meet Tuesday. But now, a general resolution of the House, they all for accept that. Now, looking at the bread and butter issue now, right? Corruption not become endemic at this country also, right? Almost in every facet of the lives of the people, right? You just see some amount of corruption. Even the school picking them, you understand? It is the amount of corruption. For example, I teach for some time, right? I write books. I write government book, a history book. I sell the book, for example, initially when I begin selling, around 50,000 loans. You can't believe that the book, they not sell up to 100,000 in other areas. Even the picking away, they can, they increase the money. So that make us say corruption is endemic. But this government don't take on its own volition, say, the spirit of corruption be so high that it don't contribute immensely for put this country behind. So as a result, we then kind of power, the kind of national power, then go redouble their efforts for make sure say they fight against corruption. Now being that corruption is almost everywhere, anti-corruption said they try, and that make them pass this new act. For the president sign it now because you don't go through parliament. And for the president for a pen in signature, they become law. So all that depends if the president is serious about fighting corruption, because that act is it therefore be one of the best acts. You understand? In Africa. So once the president a pen in signature and it become law, some of the loopholes then or the weaknesses ACC not be able for undertake, they now get the opportunity for undertake, and now they almost get their own court system, right? So then go able for question almost everywhere. Of course, I agree with Melvin. Say if they empower parliament, when you look at the functions of parliament, parliament gets so much powers, You understand? For they get the capacity. They get the mandate, but they don't lack the capacity. And if they provide the capacity for them, you understand, we don't even need other anti-crafts agencies. Them, you understand? Parliament alone, they get power for question time. You understand? If they give money to a particular ministry, then find out say it is not well performed. Parliament get the responsibility for call the person in charge. You understand? Either the permanent secretary or the minister in charge for be accountable. Through question time now, which is let me get oversight functions. You understand? Huge lots of functions of parliament, but it is upon the executive for actually capacitate them so that at least they're able to perform their functions. But again, as it is now, absenteeism, the excuse for me, it not suffice. You understand? Because I agree to what Melvin say. Now Tuesdays and Thursdays. You understand? You say Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't get a reference.
You don't get the reference, right?
Yeah.
Which one you get? Do you want to say?
Standing order number 5,
Yes.
subsection number 1. Subject to the provision of subsection 1 of section 84 of the Constitution, the House may sit on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
That is it.
But there's a proviso.
Yeah, that we can say.
And understand, it's not the
Okay.
it's not the
Okay, let me just
outside.
carry on that you come there
Go
because that is my knowledge.
Go ahead, yeah,
that
you're right.
they meet throughout. You understand? They don't meet during holidays, but if the circumstances of the time, you understand, forces them to meet, then they can meet at that particular time day.
Yeah.
So in terms of this corruption, now the find out say the bread and butter issue is in a quagmire. You understand? We are caught in a web. You know, the situation is so difficult now because of the money they also. Imagine you as a permanent secretary and call you na parliament for account. You can't even do simple mathematics. And apart from that, you go faint.
Yeah.
You understand? Interesting. So ambulance they come. And the corruption and parliament for serve as an exemplary. You understand? But if the parliament not like look like the kind funny thing that's really happening at parliament now. You understand? If you look at 2018, right? Parliament not even question the executive, you understand, for make the give an account on the expenditure for the 2018 budget. Parliament for question that. I think that parliament before don't do before ever they look at this new act we don't come in. But nothing was done with that.
No, neither they do now in the committee.
Okay, just start one.
Committee,
Start
yes,
for one
I know
now.
now,
You
it's
understand?
subcommittee.
They don't pass this already before ever they can take on that
Well,
one day.
again, just sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
The Finance Act of 2020,
Yes.
the winner bill, because
Okay,
the
make that
president
provision.
get accident,
Yeah.
that in don't go to winner for add or remove taxes. But the budget, which
Yeah.
is the appropriation bill,
Yeah.
it's still in progress.
Okay.
They not pass it because
No, yeah, no,
after this subcommittee
Yeah.
stage
Yeah, but
now,
what you talk
they
very
get for
important
debate
Yeah.
back.
on that
Yes.
of, I mean,
Yes,
let's
yes.
just
You
establish.
see?
Without quorum,
Without
without quorum, the
Yes.
business of the house cannot proceed.
it cannot proceed. So that make the government actually need for redouble efforts because sometimes change is necessary. Which is difficult for effect na change because when you effect a change, some will be excited with the change, whilst others not will be excited with the change. But I don't believe in political power being in the hands of one set of people for a very long period of time. It can lead to dictatorship and all that. That's why, like we saw, you understand, I'd be happy that there was a change. You understand? Because like the former government officials, some of them make themselves semi-gods and all that. You understand? When they did that power. So imagine if APCB win back. How many people are there before Dundee? Therefore, don't become dictators, idols. You understand? So it was better that the change don't take place. And the new direction means we for change from bad things, you understand? Things that we consider say that we are bad, and we do what is right. So because of them, things that also the corruption is still endemic, it's still going on. Anti-corruption gets a fight, then get for the double effort. So I pray to God that the president append his signature and become law. and all that.
Anti-corruption, one party tell me say when they face this committee on supplies, they were referred. They tell them yes. We
Seriously.
were low wait to let the report because they were deferred.
Yeah.
But not just left.
So
out.
not just look for what you see now. Okay, I think.
Okay, as we dey try for wrap up the program, now that the Finance Act they go back, we
Yeah.
Parliament get for look for do some amendments at the impress section. So like as democracy alone when organization when they talk about good governance, which one are they hope for seeing this amendment?
We want to see the amendment speak the voices of the people, the opinion of the people, you understand? Because we don't feel say that particular act, that provision of unaccountability being that me na a good governance expert, and for the fact that me organization they intervene on good governance and where accountability a very very important, a major aspect. You understand? If this particular they don't just get rid of him, you understand? If they want again, it's also necessary that then take them into consideration. But there should be a bar, a limitation for the president. You understand him? Because that's part of accountability. Say if the president travels that, enough for exceed this amount.
Because now that's I think saying
Enough
in the
for exceed
discussion,
this
you
amount.
forget a ceiling.
And that will be fine. Forget a ceiling. You understand? So that I think that will speak volumes. It will be good for the people of this country, and this issue of broken economy, it will be solved. Because from that period to now, if we take into consideration all end team there, so I think the economy for the shake-up small, but the economy is just dying. It's just dying. You understand? If you look at the act, there are fine aspects of the act. You understand? In terms of taxes, in terms of importing manufactured goods, you understand? All entities they define. Then, look at one thing back we will not take into consideration: promotions of mobile companies. Then you begin tax them. And when they tax promotions of mobile companies, now me you to the suffer because now me you to the buy credits. You understand? Then another area where very, very, very important. Now, this act, there is a provision there that them for begin for pay tax. You know, there are certain things government if it say that they generate resources.
Income.
Whilst they generate resources, then at the same time it will be detrimental to the people. So government therefore be very, very careful because they self did it for the interest of the people. The president in speech enforced statement, you understand, that in victory not come as a result of or as a result of party, but as a result of the nation as a whole. So as a result of that, then again, in that particular speech, he talked about, say, this time around, you not go focus too much on mineral resources, but in agriculture, marine, and tourism. Mm-hmm. But from that period to now, waiting, we will really bluff about nothing. Agriculture, it extremely dead down. So when the government make promises, and that's an aspect of good governance, you understand? When you make a promise, you make a statement saying that this, if for endeavor for make sure say that particular thing is realized. Marine, we see nothing going on. We only generate because there was a projection of $100 million annually. We'll forget from marine resources, and it came from the president himself. You understand? So as a result of that, we want to see something happen so that me and Melvin himself will be happier. You.
Okay, Melvin.
Oh yeah, thanks very much. I want to say thanks to my colleague, Mr. Firstly, I think say we do justice, and I'm sure the family and the public that then gets the ultimate saying. So all these issues we will always highlight them. And for Parliament, I think say if they want for move forward, for be sensitive and they listen and they engage, it's good that they get the open day. And I hope that members of the public will come on board and understand Parliament more. Not so an event, not a process. And for the issues, particularly on that bill, I still do studies on why the nomenclature non-accountable impress. Again, I go long for see an audit report on the office of the president. Not only this one way they go on at the COI on waiting we don't pass, but waiting the B and waiting for B. So I mean to say we need to find out international best practice. And for say president then they get non-accountable impress, that now one. If then they get non-accountable impress, I mean they say they not they retire but how best practice they say them money and they for be tracked. And for winner salon, where the government say the economy is battered, in order to intern them with the message of the president. So it's good that the president they listen and the public self they speak and they show say with democracy in the image. Let we continue. It's good that we get radio democracy and other radio stations. We get the platforms for shed light on these issues. I want to thank you and the management. And we'll continue for say these issues, but I'm not expecting to be perfect one day because the imperfections don't take decades, if not centuries. So you have to take time, consistency, and sacrifice for the reach who want for reach as a nation.
That audit report issue will be very important every year because I check far back from 2004 or 2003. We don't get audit reports almost every year in, every year out, every year in, every year out. You understand? We're not able to get 2018 audit reports.
Well, you were surprised that now I think now something for Madam Princess for investigate.
Yes, investigate
Me
that.
talk on record with the chairman of the Transparency and Accountability Committee Well, when we talk about the fact that he say the audit report don't come out in our parliament and our parliament not debate it. That I get now my record, and I think I need for review that interview again for actually see the actualities on that. If it's indeed in parliament, how comes?
Yeah.
Is it now a public document?
Yes.
Because the essence of that now in all this new direction
Now
government
they check
into
the direction.
account.
Yeah.
Now the first audit report
Yes.
of the new direction government. So with that report, we will know if now new direction we dey go or now the same
Yes,
direction
the
we
same
dey
direction,
or
yeah.
now reverse direction.
It's very
we
good
go.
for them investigating
So
that
yeah, we will
particular
definitely
which is
follow
it.
up
Because
that,
most
and perhaps
times
we will work on
now
that.
around August, September, we know they come
And
out.
let me see whether it's
Like, there
true.
is a delay,
It's
and people
true.
can say it's being doctored. Most like probably.
Well, those
That
are
is probability.
hypotheses and
Yes,
speculations.
hypothesis.
Low
You
weight for-
understand?
low weight
Low
for
wait and see.
public
But the
aspect.
delay.
It's supposed to be
it
on the
may-
website if it's out.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
because they
Because
can
know that the
upload
website. We don't check. You know the day.
Then you upload on our website.
Yes,
where
you know
they
the
can-
day.
maybe
It's
sometimes they
in
don't
our
finalize
parliament.
everything.
see?
It's maybe.
But we go
But for
work
keep
on
we
that.
informed, another aspect
Okay, they
of good
inform the
governance.
public,
You have to
yeah.
keep the public informed
For every step
about
wey
certain
they
things.
take,
Then,
every
you understand?
step.
But up to now, nothing yet.
It's the
So-
audit report for 2018 public. I think it's not
Yes,
something that we are
that is
sending
it.
for the public.
Yes.
Okay, with your help, we can do that.
I'm sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
we can.
before we wrap up the program, just 1 minute concerning this open day where Parliament get forget.
Oh, Parliament, well, by extension, and get open there. I'm sure it starts now 3 days, 11.
It starts from the 9th.
The 9th,
Yeah, to the
and
12th.
last night
To
the
11th.
outreach department we did with me as Sky Radio and we discussed about that. By and large now for bringing Parliament closer to the people and the people closer to Parliament, we are in then say they want all these misgivings for about Parliament for be corrected. But I will ask the question why now after we don't get back and forth with between MP and the chief administrator and the clerk and other several issues. But by and large, it seems as if the parliament also they become sensitive to the issues and no one foresee them are back anymore. My only fear, let them allow the independent media, the independent civil society for always there around. Let them not say entirely none for control the narrative. Because it's good, you go get your app, you go get your website, you go get all things.
Yeah.
But you know we forget
not to wait no more
everything.
you want for let the public know for no. And so far we don't find out with even the parliamentary news updates and the parliamentary reports, it's about just the narration of the parliament. And it's only when we get like the 98.1, you get independent journalists like the Melvin and others, then we will get another aspect to some of those stories. Because parliament now ever will see the bad parts if they get
Yeah.
a power day.
Yeah.
So it's only when you get independent civil society, independent media, independent people that way they work day, then the thing that way they even want fucking they keep, then it will kind of public light. So on that note, I want to say thanks so much to everyone for listening and to you for letting get me and to my colleagues and the man them behind the machine. And it's always good to get the democracy. I'm proud of us so much because now the voice, the true voice of the people.
Well,
Not forget for investigate parliament as well as to why they need to meet 4 times. Why they reduce them to 2?
But
Yeah,
it's
that- that disservice to me.
May. It's not shall.
No, but
When
they
the
should
law
do
say
it
May,
because when the guy
when
it's May.
when
you
it's
understand?
May, it's not
Yes,
compulsory.
it's May, but for make them able for bend things, you understand? They can bring and come in. That is why
Not
even
sure.
even on weekends, you understand, the circumstance can make them go weekend. Even public holidays, the circumstance can make them go there. On a resolution, it's a May, you understand? But you have to look at how reflective the May is with the situation
Because
at the
we don't see
moment.
Well, that's a
parliament
question
sit
okay for
12 o'clock.
12
12
o'clock.
o'clock, why they push on the other
So
day.
if they cut and
Yes.
short save, let them sit
Yes.
and do government business, but not for let them go do no more. Let
Like
them
they
do
say, look
diligence.
this last which is it's almost o'clock. So
well,
why you
that's
push
a
on next
question
day?
we'll get for put to the
Yeah,
clerk.
for put so I clarify.
Okay, well, plenty thank you. I be get Marcus Bangura, we na the executive director, Democracy Saloon, and self na political analyst. We don't talk on different issues them we happen at parliament and we good for the country democracy. And self I don't get Melvin Tijan Mansari, the seasoned journalist and parliamentary reporter. We know the issues at parliament. Don't they? I don't talk the burning issues where they happen at parliament and don't probe solutions as way for make the parliament business go before na the country. Plenty thank you na joining at the program. Well, now this edition inside Parliament, go left for today. Plenty thank you to DJ Ahmad and Moses Kavura. We make una able get we live na Facebook where the program reach to you. Me we produce and present this program. Me your name na Princess Pias. They say, don't forget for listening every Saturday, 11 to 12 p.m. for the program inside Parliament where they bring our issues to you that happen at Parliament and other thing them where na democracy issues them way for bring developments can the country. They say tata.
No, this one is a special dedication. to all the people of this nation. Real, all the lovers of radio democracy, all the lovers of radio land, the voice of the masses. Hear this.